Hi, everyone. Welcome to Trauma, Talks, and Transformation. I think I said that wrong.
No.
It's Nina.
It's trauma, talks, and truths. Your thing is transformation. So Nina also has, don't you have a YouTube, Trauma, Talks,
I
and
just started it.
Transformation?
My
Yeah.
bad. We can't start over, but it's Nina, Dr. Isella. And we're here to talk to you today. We're going to talk about being overwhelmed and feeling afraid and what to do. And if you're new to us, I'm a trauma-informed life coach. And tell us a little bit about you, Isella.
I am a spiritual teacher. I am a medium, and I am a trauma healing guide. I connect with spirit to kind of identify what's getting in the way of you accessing the truth of who you are.
Love it. Love it. So I want to share that so you know that what we share with you today is from our own personal experience and education and just literally just tools we use in our lives for feeling afraid and being overwhelmed. So let's talk about Isela. Let's talk about what people have shared with you about what they're afraid of right now.
Oh my goodness, are you kidding me? we're in like this state of like fear of the uncertain, fear of the unknown, fear, concern, overwhelm. I think people's nervous systems are completely and totally activated, and I want to explore what happens within the nervous system. Okay, because
Yeah.
there are a couple things that are happening. I think first and foremost, the thing that is a natural human reaction is that there are lots of uncertainties right now. And it is a scary experience because, we're playing out all in our minds, all of the things that could happen, that are
Mhm.
happening, and we're kind of freaking the fuck out. So it's a very human experience to go into fight, flight, or freeze. Okay,
Yes.
it's a very human experience. And we're going to explore that a little bit more. And then for those of us who lived in fear or didn't feel safe, secure, or someone didn't help us move through a state of our fear and help us kind of learn to, or even help us soothe through it, or help us feel safe
Yeah.
and get back to the sense of safety. If we didn't have that, and I lived in a chronic state of fear.
Mhm.
Now, fortunately, I've done a lot of work. And so like I'm able to access my own resources when I'm starting to move into that. But as I'm talking to more and more people, I'm like, holy shit. Like what's happening is that scared little girl inside of me, let's say, my 3-year-old, my 5-year-old, my 7-year-old, my 22-year-old is freaking the fuck out.
Yeah.
Because that part within us gets activated and it believes that its sense of safety that there is no sense of safety. And it
Right.
recalls old memories that it believes is happening in real time.
Yes.
So we've got this very human reaction to what's happening in the world. And then for those of us who have felt unsafe and for reasons that are very real,
Yeah.
if we didn't have someone to work us through that or heal that, transform that, transmute that, integrate, like all the things that we do in our healing journey, that's been activated as well.
Yes. And the thing that I want you to remember is everything you said about all the experiences that create fear. The undercurrent is I don't have control
Mm-hmm.
of my body. And so for anybody who has felt not in control and not safe in their body, most likely your body is activated right now because there's a lot of uncertainty and a lot of things we cannot control right now. So we're going to talk a little bit about, I don't know if it's necessarily important to go into the why your body is activated as far as, like you said, you're remembering your 22-year-old self is activated. Your, 8-year-old self is activated. I don't think it's important for you who's listening to try to make sense of it,
Mm-hmm.
of the part of you right now who's activated, right? I think it's more important for you to support your body through it Because if you don't support your body, your mind will keep going. And what you said, Isela, we're like projecting into the future what might happen, right? Because your body is literally like we are in a state of emergency, and the mind gets to work, right? The mind gets to work, and you can't bring yourself back to a grounded, regulated, safe state if your mind's getting to work and painting some pictures of what is not actually happening right now, right? Mm-hmm. Not to say that those things might not happen, right, but you can't bring yourself to a grounded state if your mind's getting to work.
Yes.
Yeah. So first things first, we don't want you to should on yourself. So if you are activated, you find yourself in a sense of overwhelm or even a shutdown state because you've been in fight or flight or an overwhelmed state for too long, and you're disconnected. Maybe you're scrolling on social media. Maybe you're checked out of, your, sometimes we check out of our community circle. It's like peace, not talking to anyone. All right. If you're shut down or you're stuck on the couch, you don't want to should yourself. Like, I shouldn't be feeling this way. I don't know why I'm feeling this way. Nothing's happening to me right now. Leave all that. Just, we don't want to should on ourselves, right? Mm-hmm. Because your body is really experiencing emotion right now.
And I think the other thing that's really important is that for many of us, we have lived in a state of not feeling. We've lived in a state of not feeling. I mean, if you experience trauma, that's a survival. That's a mechanism. We just don't feel. And so we shut that shit down and we get ourselves busy with other things.
Mm-hmm. No, you're not alone. I mean, I can really raise my hand to that. My subconscious nervous system's response is to not feel, is to really shut down from all emotion.
Right.
That also shuts me down from joy, happiness, peace. Right. And so we'll talk about that too, if you find yourself really shut down. So we want to share some somatic practices with you today to help you bring a sense of safety into your body. Remember, we're not talking about circumstances, right? Because there's many circumstances that you're not going to be able to change right now. But we're talking about how to bring a sense of safety into your body. Number one, if you're not in safe circumstances, that's the first thing, right? This video right here that we're going to talk to you, if you happen to come upon this video and you're not in a safe environment, I want you to turn this video off and get to a safe environment somehow. Reach out to your resources. Isela, you want to add anything to that?
I think it's really important for us to understand this part about connecting to our body, because many of us survive by being disconnected from our physical bodies, and our physical bodies help us have an awareness and an understanding of what is happening within us. And we stay disconnected because it's a perception of feeling safe.
Yeah.
And so I don't want to push you into more than you can handle, because this experience might be very overwhelming for you. And I want you to just kind of check in with yourself and go, okay, where am I at and where's my level of comfort? And we want to have a little bit of level of discomfort because it stretches us a little bit, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But we don't want to get into another state of overwhelm. So somatic approaches really help us kind of tap into our physical bodies and recognize what might be happening and bring us back to a state of balance and of calm.
Yeah.
And so Nina is going to offer a few different approaches that you can put in your back pocket and utilize as we move through this collective experience that we are having. So Nina, what do you have for us?
Okay. The first one I want to talk about is feeling a sense of overwhelm, fear, stress. Emo- Emotion is energy in motion.
Mhm.
So if I was being chased by a tiger right now, I've got a lot of energy that goes through my body, my brain. I'm not thinking. The energy is coming through my body. Why? Because it wants me to run, right? If I'm being approached by a tiger, I've got energy. So I want you to think of the emotions you're feeling, especially if you're not in a shutdown state, meaning you're feeling overwhelmed and stressed, and maybe you're like just kind of going about your day and you have shortness of breath here. That's a sign, like shortness of breath, tightness anywhere in your body, whether sometimes you're walking around like this, or you're trying to distract yourself with housework or working, your jaw's tight, like it's totally clenched. Once you become aware that you're in that state, the one thing that I really like to do is move the energy. And you can do this anywhere you are. And if you're at work, and you don't want to do it in public, you can go to a bathroom. But I'm going to step back just a tad bit so you can see. And what you're going to do is you're going to start shaking. This is just somatic shaking. And this is just to get your body moving. So you're going to stand with both feet on the ground. I know you can't see my feet, but you're going to stand there and you're just going to start to bend your knees. And,
I'm
you're
like sitting.
you're bending your knees, right? Now you see my body just going up and down. And then I start bending softly, softly, and the rest of my body is shaking. And you can see my hands are just dangling, and I'm shaking my hands down here like this. And as your shoulders are dropping, I'm feeling the energy go through my body, and you're just shaking. And a minute of shaking can do wonders. Another thing you can do is just kind of let your head, as long as you're protecting your body and any kind of injuries you may have. Um, and if you don't have the ability to shake your whole body, you can just shake your hands
Mhm.
or your legs, whatever feels comfortable. But shaking for just a minute or so will move the energy. You can also start shaking really big if you have the ability to do that. And you're moving the energy. And then once you do that for about a minute, you can come to a stillness and you can notice in your body that there might be some tingliness or some more energy. You might even feel energy in your fingertips and you want to shake it out some more.
Mhm.
So, somatic shaking can help you get it moving. After you shake your body, I want you to bring a sense of groundedness into your body. So place a hand on your belly, a hand on your chest. First, before you do anything, notice your hand on your chest. Notice it on your belly. Notice your feet touching the surface it's on. You might at this point notice your glutes are tight. You can release if you can, and notice any other tightness happening in your jaw. See if you can release your jaw if it's tight. Take a deep breath into your diaphragm. So beneath your chest into your belly. And then release slowly as you can, allowing your body to settle into the ground or the floor that you're on. Another deep breath. And release. Trying to stay out of your mind, focusing on your hand and hands on your belly and your heart. One more deep breath. And release. And right in this moment, you could bring your mind on board and remind yourself of where you are in this moment. What's true for you right now, right in this present moment? What's true for you right now? It might be, I'm safe right now. I'm in my home right now. If you've been worried about your children or people you love, everybody I know right now is safe right now. Whatever is true for you. And then, so that's one. Isela, do you have anything to add to those two?
Well, no, I want to kind of build on this one a little bit because I know I don't know why I have this need to say it. I think it's because who might be watching this at another time.
Okay.
So in case you didn't know this, but like that release of energy that Nina was talking about, what happens is our body prepares to take off or fight.
Mhm.
Okay. So all of the blood and everything goes to our extremities, goes to our fingertips. It goes. And when we don't actually go through the whole cycle, it gets stuck in the body. It gets stuck in
Yes.
the body. Okay. Now, how do we know this? Well, there's been lots of studies with animals. And if you see an
Yeah.
animal like an antelope running from, somebody who, or not somebody, could be somebody, could be a
Could
person,
be.
but like they're being chased as prey.
Yes.
And what happens is they'll start to fight and then they realize they can't, right? And so then what happens is they drop, okay? And then they pretend like they're dead.
Hmm.
And then the animal goes, I don't want you because you're dead. I wanted,
Right.
to kill you and do the whole thing. And so it like smells around and the animal just, pretends it's dead. And so the animal takes off. And if you notice,
Hmm.
the animal will get up and it'll just start to shake. It'll just shake
Yes.
it off. Even our dogs, like when we
Yes.
pet them, if we pet them and they're like, okay, your energy is a little bit too much for me, you stop petting them and then they'll shake. They're like,
Hmm.
okay, I got to shake that energy off.
Yes.
That's what's happening. And so many of us, we don't know, we didn't know that. We did not know that. So
Hmm.
then this thing happens in our body, it stays stuck in our body.
Hmm.
And so we actually need to move the energy.
Move it.
So even Nina went through a whole cycle, but even if you're like just shaking your feet, just
Yep.
shake your feet. And sometimes like I'm talking to somebody and I'm like, okay, I just need to do this,
Uh-huh.
just move the energy.
Uh,
And I can feel it because I've done this so much. I can feel it in my fingertips. I can feel it when it's actually been released. And you get better at it. The more and more you
yes.
do it, you get better at it.
Yes. Yeah, that was so good. I've
Yes.
seen a video in my training. They probably showed you this video too. Maybe it was a polar bear, and they were doing the study on a polar bear, and this like helicopter. They were trying to catch the polar bear to do like basically the study on it. And the same thing as it was waking up from being tranquilized, it was shaking its whole body out, right? Because it had so much energy in the body. So we as humans have animal bodies,
Right.
right? And we forget we have animal bodies because we're real. Actually, I don't think we forget. We just were not taught
Yeah.
originally.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. So there's one. The next one I want to talk to you is I know we didn't say anything about anxiety in our title, but let's talk about anxiety for a second. It's very similar to, you could use the tool I just shared with you for anxiety, stress, overwhelm, fear. But another one that is not talked about a lot is something called bilateral stimulation. And you can do it. Say you're walking somewhere and maybe at the grocery store and you start to feel anxious. I literally had a client recently that this was her situation. She was in the grocery store. She was feeling really anxious. So grab your keys or something small. I'm going to use this heart on my desk. And what you're going to do, awesome. Oh, what is that? I want to know.
It's a red agate. It's a stone.
A stone. Okay.
Yeah.
So what you're going to do is put it in between both your hands, have a soft gaze forward, and keep your soft gaze forward, and then just start passing it across the midline of your body. I'm going to break my gaze to look at you, but what you're doing is you're passing it from one hand to the next, right? And so you're activating both left and right brain. And this can take you from a level 10 panic, if you can remember to do it, or if you have somebody around you that can remind you, and bring you down to a level, say 8 or 7 anxious, right? And if you're at a level 8 anxious, it can bring you down to a level 2 anxious, right? And then you can access your body. So this is something a lot of people love this one because we can just start activating both sides. And if you don't notice, I'm noticing it over here and then I'm noticing it over here, right? So yeah, bilateral stimulation. This is one that you don't have to do it very many times either. What did you notice when you were doing that?
Actually, not what I noticed, but something I want to add on.
Sure. Yes. Yes.
So, this is actually one of the ways we build our ability to connect with spirit. Because when we do the soft gaze, we're actually relaxing, which means that we're opening up a little bit more. And when you move just a little bit out into your peripheral vision, you're expanding your awareness that opens up your third eye. It's
Yes.
actually one of the strategies to help you be able to see beyond this time and space.
I love it. I
Yeah.
love it. Okay, so I'm actually feeling a lot better right now doing these. I can feel a sense of groundedness in my body. So check in with your body if you're doing these with us. The next one I want to teach you is okay, this one is there's no name for it, but when you're in overwhelm and you're afraid, your body is tense somewhere. Mine is always my upper back, my upper neck. Many people, it's their stomach, their chest. They say, I have tightness in my chest.
Mm-hmm.
Or some people, it's here. Or some people, it's the tightness of the jaw. I've got a clenched jaw. If you have pain in your jaw at all, that's where yours is, right? Pain in your jaw is not like normal, right? So that's where yours exists. It's very unconscious. So what you can do is you can tighten that area up. Like, for example, mine is always my upper back and my neck. So I could technically just like tighten that area as much as possible. And I would do it like this, tighten and then drop it. And then tighten and then drop it, right? But if you want to do this exercise, you can choose to do your whole body. So what you would do is you would just like tense everything, every muscle you can in your whole body, your jaw, your back, your arms, your chest. Tense, 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 and release. Take a breath. Do it one more time. Tense, 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 tense everything. Your butt cheeks, your legs, your calves, your back, your hands, your arms, your jaw, and release. Take a breath. Be in the absence of the tenseness for a second. Maybe another breath. I'm feeling a little bit more energy going through my body. There you go. You want to add to that, Isela?
No, this is a great one to do with kiddos too. I mean, kids can do all of them, but this is a really, really good one to be able to start to identify what you may have been tight. Like some people live in a chronic state of jaw tight, stomach clenched, shoulders up, butt clenched. And you don't even realize you're doing it
Yep.
because you've been doing it for 25 years.
Yes. Yeah.
So you gotta like change the landscape a little bit and then release. And then you go, oh crap, I didn't even realize I was doing that.
Yeah. Yeah. For some reason, it's hit me to speak to those of us who've had our body violated in any way. Many of us who have been abused in any way, our body abused in any way, our body is clenched because we live in a state of hypervigilance,
Right.
where our body is in a state of I've got to protect myself because it's not safe in here.
Yep.
So that one is really good, yeah, to do. And then as I'll add for kids is if you want to do the shaking with kids, I would highly encourage you to turn on music and do a dance party. They'll like that way more than shaking. And if you like that more than shaking, do that because it's very similar. It's just moving the energy.
What I do with Gia, my daughter, my 16-year-old, whenever she's feeling a lot of overwhelm, she's done, I take her hands and we do this.
Ah,
We shake her body and we're both shaking together. And usually she starts to laugh. She's 16, she still laughs. So it's part of the ritual that we do to help move the energy from her body.
I like that. It was like reminded me of doing the ropes, battle
Yeah,
ropes. But the laughing is really good too,
it's a good
right?
release. Yeah.
It's a good release. Laughing energetically is a great release. It's really great if you've been holding your tongue about things. And so it's not wrong to put on The Office and laugh, or put on whatever show you like and just laugh your butt off, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to share one last one. This one's it has some link to it. I'll try to be quick, but this is a whole technique. Let's say that you're a human and you know all these you know all these and you've been doing them. You've been using all the shaking, you've been using your breath to bring yourself to groundedness, you've been tapping, you've been just doing all the resources. This one is for you if you're really avoiding emotional releasing,
Mhm.
because it's great to create capacity. I want to mention this before I share this. If you've noticed that you have a shutdown, like your nervous system goes to shutdown, which is in freeze, this might not be the time to try to create more capacity.
Right.
Right?
Yep.
This might be the time to say, okay, what is something how can I support myself to get through this right now? And then when I feel a lot safer in another time period, whether it's, tomorrow or next week or 2 weeks or whatever is right for you, then you can say, okay, I can work with my nervous system a little bit to create more capacity. Right. So you want to, like, okay, if you're, scrolling, or you're, checked out washing dishes, or focused on like cleaning your closet out, it's not a problem. Right. We don't need to make it a problem. But here's something you can do to really start releasing some of the emotions and being really true with yourself and your experience. Okay. So this technique is not mine, but I'm going to share it with you because it's my mentor and a coach who trained me. It's called the temper tantrum technique. And it's in her book called, I want to make sure that I share where I got it from. It's in Christine Hassler's book called Expectation Hangover. And I really like this technique because you can do it in about 30 minutes. You want to make sure that you do this. You have a soft landing after. You're not going to want to like do it and then go to work. Maybe do it in the evening where you have like something like a soft place to land after. Okay. So right now, for this exercise, you're going to get a candle, a large pillow, some tissue, a journal if you want to. If you have a stuffed animal, you can. I have a Care Bear back there. You see it? This is so hard to to point to it. If you have a stuffed animal, that's great. I have a dragon and a Care Bear that I usually do things like this with. So before you begin, light the candle, and then saying to yourself, spirit, may only that which is for my highest good come forward. Right? Next thing, you're just going to take a moment to connect to your highest self, that inner self who is compassionate. You can access the compassion for the human that you are. That's going to keep you in a grounded space because your highest self is the observer of the human experience, right? So you're going to do that. And then what you're going to do is just be with yourself and let all the emotions rise up. All the emotions. Resist analyzing. Try not to analyze your emotion. And allow yourself to like feel them fully. Okay. If anger comes up and you want to hit a pillow, you can. As you're there and emotions coming, I want you to start with I am, and whatever emotion it is. I'm afraid because. Say it out loud. Tell yourself, I'm afraid, because all the reasons why you're afraid, right? I'm sad. I'm overwhelmed because, and this sucks because, right? Like really let it all out. Let it all out. You may cry. You may not cry, especially if you're conditioned to not cry. Don't expect anything. Just allow yourself to say it. You may actually start feeling a little anger. That's okay. You have a pillow. Hit the pillow. Hit the pillow. Really be there with yourself, right? And then you can continue tuning into your highest self and like giving yourself words like, it's okay. Let this out. You can let it out. You got this. I'm still here, right? Let it out. Just kind of encouraging yourself to let it out. And then you continue your temper tantrum, whatever it looks like. As you start to feel your emotions, they're going to start dissipating, settling. This is where you want to find some nurturing from your highest self. Like you bring in some nurturing. It might be like a really warm cup of tea, something warm. It might be a blanket, wrapping a blanket around you as tight as you can. It might be, if you have a pet, this would be a really great time. They're going to be there. They're going to be there close by, I'm sure. And this is a great time to like pet them and be there with them. If you don't have a pet, you can use a stuffed animal, but some sort of nurturing. Then what you want to do at the end, after the nurturing, is take a couple deep breaths. You want to keep yourself, because sometimes what we'll do is we'll like fall into the pillow and we'll just want to stay there, right? Kind of like in a frozen state.
Mhm.
If that's you, I want you to bring yourself back up. We call this dignity. You bring yourself back. Watch your jaw because it might be clenched. Unclench the jaw. Take a couple deep breaths, again, connecting to the body. About 2 or 3 is good here. You may still be crying. That's okay. But you want to end in a state of dignity, meaning this emotion is not me. I have having emotion come through me and I just released it. And now I'm back at a safe place in my body. And then at the end, just give yourself some acknowledgement, because it's so easy to go and like go somewhere and do something. Go do something. Keep yourself busy, right? I mean, we all know those of us that want to just keep ourselves busy. I can never sit down, they say. It's a challenge to do this. So if you do this, just give yourself some appreciation. And that's the temper tantrum technique.
So I'm going to say something to you folks who are seeing this for the very first time. Many of us kind of eye roll these types of experiences. Why would I do that? It looks so stupid, it looks so silly. And I think this is especially true culturally for men.
Yes.
And I got to tell you, we got to stop that shit.
Absolutely.
We have to stop that shit, because if you haven't lived your life being able to access peace, love, and happiness, then you've missed out on so much of what is already present within you.
Mm-hmm.
And this might look silly, and you might feel uncomfortable as hell. And you might be thinking to yourself, I feel stupid doing this. But this is one of the paths to being able to access your own sense of safety, your truest self, which is love. And when there's a lot of stuff going on around us, you can access peace even though there's chaos surrounding us. It's possible.
Yeah.
Possible. And so give it a try.
Yeah.
Even start with the shaking one.
Mm-hmm.
Just do that.
Yeah.
Just do that. And I have a quick sleep one that I think is actually very, very cool. You pick a word. And so I use this with Gia. So you pick a word. So you pick a word, I don't know, like sophisticated or silly or jumbotron. It doesn't matter what the word is. And what you do as you're lying down is you say the first letter, you go through each letter. And so you go J, and then you start to tell yourself all the words that start with J that you can think of.
Oh my gosh, I love this.
J, Jumbo, Julie,
Jack
Jill.
Rabbit.
Yeah. So you just exhaust yourself with as many J words, and then you go to the next letter, and you exhaust yourself with the next letter of all the words you can think of. And what happens is we actually begin to relax, because our brain kind of softens and turns off a little bit, because what's happening is you all are doing and it's keeping you from going to sleep. So it's a really good strategy to help just bring you back into a better state of calm if you are having difficulty sleeping.
Girl, I love that one. I've never heard of it, and I'm going to use it with my niece and now my clients.
Yeah, it's very, very cool. And I use it. I don't really have, no, that's not true. I do wake up in the middle of the night. But I kick right into picking a word and going through each letter. And that really just helps us get to
I love it.
Your mind running away with stuff. So, all right. Any final words, Nina?
Be gentle with yourself right now. There's nowhere to be. There's nowhere else you should be, or nothing else you should feel. You should just be exactly where you are right now. So I'm just sending you so much love from my heart to yours. And I'm doing this. We're doing this with you. Yes, we're teaching, but we literally have to use these tools all day.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
My final word is give yourself grace. Give yourself grace.
Yeah.
You know, it's the ebb and flow of the human experience. That's what we're having right now. Give yourself grace.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Until tomorrow.
Tomorrow. See you then.
Yeah.
Bye.